I'm 65 years old. My name is Lynn. I live alone now. My husband passed away a long time ago. My children have their own lives far away. But this week, something exciting is happening. My family invited me to Hanoi for a big family gathering. My daughters, my son, my grandkids. They'll all be there. I said yes right away. I bought a bus ticket, packed my bags, and here I am. I arrived in Hanoi today. I was tired, but so happy. I couldn't wait to see my family again. But first, I needed to get to the guest house. I walked outside the bus station to find a taxi. A car pulled up. A taxi. I opened the door and said, "Hello?" The driver didn't reply. That was the first strange thing. I told him the name of my guest house. He started driving. No smile, no words. It was quiet. Too quiet. I thought, maybe he's shy, or maybe something's wrong. I tried to make small talk. "Busy day today?" I asked. He said, "No, just one word. No smile, no interest." I stayed quiet, but my mind was racing. Who is this man? Why is he so cold? Then he turned on the radio. A sad song played. He switched it off quickly. Too quickly, like the song hurt him. I didn't say anything, but I felt it. There was pain in this man. After a few minutes, he spoke. "You here alone?" he asked. I said, "No, my family's here. I'm meeting them soon." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Family isn't always easy." His voice was low, heavy. I knew something then. This ride wasn't just about getting to the guest house. It was going to be more. Something unexpected. The car was quiet again. I looked out the window, but my thoughts were busy. I thought about my family, our dinner, the hugs, the laughter. Then the driver spoke again. "You're lucky," he said. I asked, "Why?" He said, "You have a family who wants you there." I didn't reply. He continued, "My wife and I, we argue all the time. We don't talk anymore. We don't smile. It's like we're strangers." I said, "That sounds tough." He nodded. "It is. I sleep on the couch now." I understood now. He wasn't angry or rude. He was hurting. I listened as he spoke. "I work every day," he says. "I drive this taxi. I take people to nice places. I smile at them. But at home, I feel invisible, like a ghost." That word, ghost, stuck with me. He said, "Last night, I almost left. I packed a bag. I wanted to run away." I asked, "Why didn't you?" He said, "Because my son cried. I heard him through the door." He didn't say anything, but I heard him. His voice softened. I don't know how to be a dad or a husband anymore. I wanted to say something wise, but I stayed quiet. Sometimes silence says more than words. In that silence, I knew this man wasn't just driving me. He was driving through his pain. I looked at him, but didn't ask questions. I just listened. He said, "My wife thinks I only care about money. She says I don't talk to her. I asked. Is she right? He paused. Maybe. I work all the time. I pay the bills. I bring food home. But I don't ask how she feels. I don't share how I feel either. He stopped talking, then added, sometimes I forget she's a person, not just someone who cooks or cleans. She's tired too. I said, sometimes we only see things when it's too late. He nodded. My son used to tell me everything. Now he stays in his room. He says, you don't listen, Dad. And he's right. I'm always working, always on my phone, always tired. There was a heavy silence. Then I spoke. I made mistakes too, I said. I was married for 35 years. I thought I had time to talk to my husband, but then he got sick, and he was gone. I continued. I wanted to say so many things, but it was too late. I was always busy, always waiting for the right moment. But that moment never came. He looked at me in the rearview mirror. He said, that's how I feel. Like it's already too late. I shook my head. No. If your son cried when you thought about leaving, it's not too late. If your wife still argues with you, she still cares. When people stop talking, that's when it's over. He said, I thought she didn't love me anymore. I said, maybe she thinks you don't love her. He went quiet. Then he said, my son wrote me a letter last year. He left it on my table. I never read it. I asked, why not? He said, I was scared. I thought it was full of anger. I said, maybe it's full of love. Maybe he wrote it because he still cares. He said, do you think so? I replied, you won't know until you read it. He was silent, but I could feel his thoughts racing. What if it's too late? He asked. I said, what if it's not? Something changed in him then. Something small, but real. I didn't come to Hanoi to help a stranger, but maybe this was why I was here. Maybe this taxi ride was meant to happen. He said, I think about leaving every day. I dream of a new life, no wife, no son, no problems. I asked, and how do you feel in those dreams? He said, free, but sad. I sighed, that's not a real dream. A real dream gives you hope, not pain. He went quiet. Then he did something strange. He pulled the car over. He didn't explain why. He took a deep breath and said, can I tell you something? Something I never told anyone. I said, yes. He said, last year I made a mistake. I met another woman. I didn't love her. I just wanted to feel alive. I never told my wife, but I think she knows. That's why everything's broken. I said, do you still see that woman? He said, no, it was just once. But that one time changed everything. I said, one moment can break things, but one moment can also fix them. He said, I don't deserve another chance. I asked, then why are you talking to me? Why did you stop the car? He didn't answer right away. Then he said, because you sound like my mother. She passed away 2 years ago. She told me, don't let pride ruin your family." I didn't listen. I said, "Listen now." He asked, "Can people like me change?" I said, "Yes, but only today. Change starts now." He looked down. Then he pulled out a small, folded paper from his pocket. "This is my son's letter," he said, "the one I never opened." I looked at it. He asked, "Should I read it?" I didn't answer. I asked, "Do you want to stay the same, or do you want to be the dad he needs?" He held the letter tightly. "I'm scared," he said. I replied, "Be scared, but open it anyway." He unfolded the paper and read in silence. 1 minute passed. 2 minutes. 3. I waited. I wondered what the letter said. Was it anger? Was it love? Finally, he spoke. "It's not what I thought," he said. I asked, "What is it?" He said, "It's love." He explained, "My son wrote this a year ago." He said, "Dad, I know you're not perfect, but I love you. I miss you. I want my dad back." He said, "I know you're tired. I know you're lost, but please don't give up. I'm still here, and I need you." The driver looked at the letter again. He wrote, "Don't walk away from us. Come back to us." And then he wrote something else. He said, "I hope someone reminds you who you are. Someone to help you find your way home." He looked at me in the mirror. "That someone is you," he said. I couldn't speak. My heart felt heavy but also warm. He said, "You're not just a passenger. You're an answer." I said, "Sometimes life puts people in our path for just one moment, but that moment changes everything." He smiled, a small, real smile. Then he said, "My wife doesn't know about the letter. She doesn't know how I feel now. I want to fix things." I asked, "What will you do?" He said, "I don't know yet." I said, "If today was your last chance, what would you do?" He thought for a moment. "I'd go home," he said. "I'd hug them. I'd tell the truth." I said, "Then maybe today is your last chance." He didn't drive right away. He just sat there, thinking. Then he said, "I didn't plan to talk today. I just wanted to finish my shift and go home." I said, "Something real happened today." He nodded. "But what do I do now?" he asked. I said, "You already know." He looked at the road and said, "I don't want to take you to the guest house. I want to go home." I said, "Then why don't you?" He said, "I'm scared they won't want me." I replied, "You won't know until you try. But if you wait too long, they might not be there." He said, "You're right." He started the car again, but he drove slowly, like he was making a big decision. After a few minutes, he said, "I'll take you to your guest house first." I shook my head. "No, drop me at the nearest bus stop. My family can pick me up. You need to go home." He said, "But you paid for the ride." I said, "The ride's over. Your real journey starts now." He stopped at a small bus stop. I said, "This is fine." He said, "I don't know how to thank you." I said, "Don't. Just live the change." He smiled, a true, quiet smile. Then he said something I'll always remember. "You changed my life in 20 minutes. I hope one day I can do the same for someone else." I said, "You will." He looked at me one last time, then turned the car around and drove away. I watched him go. I stood there, thinking about what happened. I came to Hanoi to see my family. I thought this trip was about food, hugs, and laughs. But maybe it was about something more. Maybe it was about one taxi ride, one man with a heavy heart, and one chance to listen. Sometimes we don't choose the moment, it chooses us. I wanted rest and joy, but life gave me something bigger. One conversation, one broken man, one truth I now believe. Sometimes one word can change a day. One question can open a heart. One moment of kindness can save a life. That driver wasn't just a driver. He was a mirror. He showed me my past mistakes, my silence. And I showed him a better future. So I ask myself, and I ask you, who needs your voice today? Who needs your time? Who needs your kindness? Don't wait for the perfect moment. It might never come. The right moment is now. Speak now. Listen now. Love now. Because sometimes one moment is all we have. If this story touched your heart, share it with a friend. Read it out loud to practice your English, or write your own story of a moment that mattered. Let's keep learning, listening, and loving together. Sweet dreams.